And staying with North Korea, as we said, this past weekend was eventful in terms of inter-Korean relations, with top North Korean officials setting foot on South Korean soil.
But the burning question is, will cross-border relations now take a step forward?
For some answers, we are joined by Doctor Kim Dong-ryul from the Korea National Diplomatic Academy. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Professor Kim, let's start with a blatantly obvious question. North Korean officials making a delightful surprise visit during the weekend. Do you think this could provide maybe new positive momentum in inter-Korean relations?
I think so. I'm very positive that this was not going to stop as just a one-time event. But as the president said, it's going to be, go on in a kind of regular basis. I'll give you two reasons for my kind of positive prediction, because number one, I believe both sides need a breakthrough from, the kind of injunction that was made by South Korean government on the May 24th earlier, that without any significant improvement in nuclear issues, no negotiation or no talk with North Korea. Now, both South and North Korea needs to break through at this moment. And the number two, as you see from the profile of those, the delegates that visited during the weekend from North Korea, they are, I would say, a truly representation of the regime, the political regime itself. Number 2, 3, and 4 guys in the ranking of the political power. So in both regions actually provide a good kind of, the prediction, positive prediction for the future. I would say that there's definitely going to be a good momentum for the North-South relationship.
But the South Korean government has always been hoping to have or make this inter-Korean talks a regular event. It wasn't just President Park Geun-hye. How realistic is that plan at this point?
I think the president is very realistic, and then the situation is very realistic as well. For that, I believe we have to look at the backgrounds of what's happening. I would say that there are several rounds of warming up to get into this point, as you see from her visit to Canada and then speeches in the United Nations. And then I believe from what she said, or even though, restrained herself a lot from talking very widely or very openly what she is going to do in the future. But still, we actually catch that from her speech or from her attitude, that she's trying to find a niche or opportunity very much between the principle that this government set, meaning that without any trustworthy improvement from North Korea, no talk. There was a principle. But at the same time, she tried to open the dialogue a lot by showing that only if you show some signs and improvement of human rights, we are ready to talk to you guys. So between these two, between the big principle and the very practical search for an opportunity to open a dialogue, I believe this is truly a good opportunity. And then that's because she is very realistically offering the regular basis kind of meeting or talk in the future.
Personally, I've experienced it when you injure yourself seriously. It really changes your perspective of things. So my wild guess is that Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, not really feeling healthy, might be having an epiphany. But that's just my misguided perceptions. Sure. What's your view on North Korea trying to move on this really friendly mode?
Well, as I said, the North Korea needs a breakthrough as well. I would say that North Korea is very desperate at this moment to get out of its political or economic isolation. Well, I mean, they were highly dependent on China's help or China's support, but these days China is changing its attitude. Russia at this moment, no hope from it, because she is also busy with other international affairs as well. And then Japan, even though it offers some sort of opening dialogue with these refugee issues, but it's going to be a long process. It's not going to be solved in the near future. The only source that they can exploit at this moment is South Korea, because South Korea, even though put a very strict condition for a future dialogue, but still, through many channels, South Korean government made the point clear that we are ready to offer assistance only if you show me some significant signs of improvement in North Korean nuclear issues. So, the North Korea is very desperate. That's going to be a good reason that the delegates came here. At the same time, the stability of Kim Jong-un regime, even though we are not sure about that, but altogether, definitely, regardless of the condition of the leader, I would say that North Korea is very desperate, and then this actually provided a good momentum of this meeting.
So the two Koreas meeting, at least on the surface, North Korea did not talk to any other country before visiting Seoul. So Can we see this as a positive sign that the two Koreas are taking the matters to their own hands and solving issues on the Korean Peninsula?
That's what North Korea wants, but South Korea will not do that. As we saw from President Park Geun-hye's visit to Canada and the United Nations, it's all known to the public that she actually revised the speeches and then shortened the strength of her speech in some places or something like that. Meaning that she. From there, I believe we see that the two sides, South Korea and the United Nations, coordinated the policy process a lot, even her visit to Canada and the United Nations. At this time as well, even though it was studied as a surprise visit by North Korea, but definitely this is time for coordination as well. Now, just go ahead and then just by themselves between South and North Korea, I don't think that's going to happen. Because I believe if South Korea is going all the way with North Korea alone without any consultation with the United States, I mean, that's going to have an effect on other affairs as well. So you know that all the things are intertwined. How much we can go by ourselves, it all depends on, I believe, how much North Korea accept this situation under the strict U.S.-South Korean alliance. And then under the alliance, what is the room for maneuver between North and South Korea? That's going to be the first condition. And then related to that, North Korean nuclear issue is the key again. So if North Korea gives some positive sign in this nuclear issue, it's going to soothe both South Korea and the United States, and then it's going to be no problem at all. But unless North Korea shows any sign of that, and then it's going to be a big trouble still to open a further dialogue between North and South Korea, and then there's going to be some kind of, big obstacle towards North and South Korean talk by themselves.
Just one point I'm a little bit confused as to, because President Park Geun-hye, didn't she say that her trust politique on the Korean Peninsula, wouldn't that involve or begin with the two Koreas talking with each other first before consulting with other nations around in the region? But
still then, the other condition she put is that start with a possible or easy issues first, meaning the soft issues first. Okay. That means that go up to the letter of harder or soft, the harder issues. Definitely that needs a consultation with other countries as well. Right. That's why she insisted on stepping from the lower level or, feasible or possible issues first and then go up to harder issues. That means actually still, even though it started as the North-South Korean internal issues, but eventually it's going to go consultation with other countries too.
Okay, all right.
Well, fueled by desperation, but unpredictable as weather, we will see how this baby step maneuver works towards better inter-Korean ties.
Sure.
Thank you so much for your time,
problem.
Professor.
Thank you for having me.